Hello and welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the RDA. This is your Ralf Ragnick press conference reaction, and I'm doing this very late. I am aware I'm doing this very late, but you know, better late than never. Had a busy day today, but let's get into it. Subscribe, smash a like, all that good stuff. You was asked, could we start up with some team news? Now, obviously the press conference is a bit later than this, but I am actually going to give you the team news because the team news is, I believe, where is the squad here? Where is the squad? Oh, here we go. So the confirmed United players to face West Ham is De Gea, Henderson, Heaton, Delo, Varane, Jones, Maguire, Telles, Matic, Fred, McTominay, Van de Beek, Lingard, Mata, Bruno Fernandes, Martial, Elanga, Greenwood, Cavani, Ronaldo, Rashford. So no Victor Lindelof because obviously I believe his family's house got broken into, and you know it was a traumatic experience for him and his family. So all the best to Victor. I completely understand, you know, things like that. So I think Ralph understands, you know. So all the best to Victor and his family. At least they're all okay, and we wish you nothing but the best, Victor. No Jadon Sancho also, because I guess it's for personal reasons, or after the funeral that he attended to. And Ronaldo had a slight neck injury, but he's good to go as well. So there you go. He was then also asked about the Victor Lindelof's house being broken into. He said he spoke with Victor for a length on the flight back from London. He also spoke this morning. He told me exactly what has happened, and that you know he wants to leave with his wife and their own. He doesn't want to leave his wife and his family on his own, which you can fully understand as he is a father of 2 children himself. He said we agreed that he will not be training today and he won't be available for tomorrow's game. I mean that's completely fine with me, and I guess from Ralph, you know, at the end of the day, football is football, but you know, we're all human and all of that stuff, and it's not something nice, obviously. So it is what it is. He said there's also been lots of talk about Jesse Lingard's future, lots of speculation linking Manchester United to all manner of the players. What is the latest on Jesse? And in an ideal world, I know January isn't the easiest market, but would you like to make a January signing? Good question. He said with regards to Jesse, it's the same quite as a few other players. He's really a good player. I see that in training every day. For me, it's a normal as other clubs. For example, Newcastle showed interest in him. I'm not the one who's dealing with that. I know there might be some interest from other clubs, and if you ask me now, that'll happen in the next 10 days until closure of the window. I can't answer that question, I'm afraid. He was then asked about Diego Delo. He said, Hello Ralph. Can I ask you about Diego Delo? He's not someone who was playing so much before you came in, but he's far more regular now. What's he doing right to stay in your team, and which areas is impressing you? Where does he have to improve? He said offensively, he's got a lot of assets. I think we have seen that lately with Diego Delo. He said it's someone who can deliver crosses from the wing and take on players in one-on-one situations. The areas he can still improve, whereas there's space for improvement, it is obviously his defensive work. We all know that as fans. We always say Diego is not there yet defensively, but he can get there, and I think he's been a lot better recently, to be fair to him. He says he's not that much of a defensive fullback, but more of an offensive fullback. This is normal. There are quite a few other fullbacks at other clubs with the same. Quite a few of those fullbacks formerly played as right or left wingers so far from the development since I'm here with Diego and Telles. I'm happy they get more game time right now because Luke is injured, Aaron is still ill. So yeah, I'm happy to have those 2 players available. As I said, offensively both them have their assets and their strengths, but defensively there's still some space to improve. Nothing wrong with that answer. Nothing wrong with that question. He was then asked another question about Jesse. Is it just the case that he's simply worth more to you in the squad? Should you need to call on him in case of illness or injury, as opposed to a potential fee, permanent loan? You might be able to get this per month. And he said, as I also said, just basically repeating the same answer. We will just have to see what happens, so I'm not going to really go into that. He was then asked if United are going to wait until the summer for transfers. How big of a building process is that going to be, not knowing whether you're going to be in the interim manager next season or whether it's going to be someone else. He said, well, my full focus, as I've indicated earlier on, is to win games with this team. In order to win games, we have to develop as a team, and we need to improve in some areas. I think we've done that so in the last couple of weeks, but there's still more space for that in the vast areas of our game. This is where the focus is, and I'm not much dealing with other things that might happen in 3 or 4 or 5 months' time. This is an issue not on top of my list. Top of my list is to win games, and the West Ham game, and then after the international break, the upcoming games in the Cup, and then Burnley and then Southampton, etc., etc. But again, about the signings, not really confident from a Manchester United manager. We are crying out for a central defensive midfielder. Whether Ralph is going to be a manager or not, regardless, that team needs a CDM. And if you don't get a CDM, you can probably kiss top 4 goodbye. We've seen how much Bruno made an impact when he came in. We basically got top four because Bruno came in during the January transfer window. So once again, the incompetence of the Glazers and this club never fails to amaze me. So it is what it is. I was then asked about it'd like to be talked about Ralph's comments he made about the three at the back. You said you wished you had done it during the Villa game and you did implement it during the Brentford game. How are you finding the adaptation process during games and knowing where to change these areas, as it were, and how to bring your methods to Manchester United team? He said, well, in a way, football is a little bit like chess. Things can change quickly during a game. Watching the last night's semi-final in the Carabao Cup between Arsenal and Liverpool, you can see the change from 1 minute to the other. Some parts of the game are dominating the game and putting the team back into the half and the box, and all of a sudden it can be different. Therefore, it's important to be able to react to what the game needs and what the team needs. In fact, we had exactly the same constellation of players at Brentford as we did at Villa. We played 2-0 up against a team that will not give up. At the Premier League, at 3-0 down, teams tend to not give up at a game. For me, it was logical with the negative experience we had at Villa Park to definitely do this time. And he did say it after the game. He said he wanted to do it and he learned from his mistakes. I can respect that. I can respect that from Ralf. Got no real problems with that. He said he was then asked the method of experience. I yet to understand if this constellation would appear again if you'd go in the same method to the back. He said, yes, I think all teams in football should be able to play different formations. I think lots of people might agree with that. As a United fan, we don't want to agree with that, but it is what it is. He said, you said that with the constellation, we should always be able to play with the back three, even under Oli. He played it at times in the Champions League against Atlanta and the Premier League against Tottenham at the back three. So why shouldn't we be able to play the back three with that kind of quality centre backs we have? Don't know about that one. After we've got Maguire coming in, and that's a hole already. And with our fullbacks, we spoke earlier about Diego and Tellez. They're both offensively strong. They would be even more valuable as wingbacks for me. I would do it again, but I would also not exclude at times this season, altering the philosophy to a back three from start. In order to do that, we also need some training time. This could, for example, happen in a week after the international break. And we need to train like that. It is also depending on the players that are being available, which is a bit concerning because basically he's not really shutting down the fact about the back five, should we say, back three, whatever you want to call it. He's not really shutting it down. I think that in the future, if he does really make this his ideal formation, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but personally, I am not one to like this formation. So it is what it is. He was then asked about, once again, he was asked about Cristiano Ronaldo, which is a long question and a long answer. He was asked, Ralf, obviously the defensive substitution meant that Ronaldo went off, and he reacted the way he did. I don't know if you've managed to speak to him again since then. I wonder how you deal with the situation because it's such a big name, it attracts so much attention. Any kind of displeasure gets reported on and magnified. How do you deal with that? And he said, well, he said, well, I think we shouldn't make too much of a fuss out of it. I only speak about myself and my coaching class. I explained to him even during the game. We had a little conversation after we scored the third goal. In fact, I told him the same as I just said in the press conference post-match. A job of a football manager is to help teams win games. For me, it was clear. The experience we made at Villa Park, we have to do it better. We did it better. And he said, of course, he said the same thing as he said after Villa. Of course, Ronaldo's a goal scorer. He's not going to be happy. Ronaldo is professional. And he said, you just got to balance it. And he told Ronaldo that maybe one day when he's a coach, he'll understand the decision he made. But Ronaldo's a top professional. I have no problem with what Ronaldo did. Because when you lose that desire, you lose what makes Cristiano special, You are meant to be a bit mad, you shouldn't be happy coming off of not scoring a goal, and Ronaldo knew the game was opening up, and it's just how Ronaldo is. So I got no problem with Ronaldo, got no problem about Ralf. Ralf dealt with it properly. If I was the manager and I had to take Ronaldo off, I wouldn't like to, but if I did, I'd just explain it the same way Ralf did it. Listen, this is the situation, you're a professional, I know you can be mad at me today, but tomorrow when it's time to go back to work, things are part aside and we'll move on. So that is all. Anyways, that is the press conference. It's a very, very interesting press conference. Do let me know what you think. Do smash a like on the video, do subscribe, and I shall see you all again tomorrow for the match day. Goodbye.